Amber.
Rightio.
Not a lot different.
Oh, it's just quite close, right and low. It's quite close to the target.
G'day guys, welcome to Mark and Sam After Work. Well, this morning we've been out early trying to do some shooting of what we're going to do, but we got a bit fraughted by the weather. If you have a look out there, you'll see what we're actually dealing with. Should have been a beautiful day today. We're all ready to do things, but unfortunately there, I think, was a whole heap of burning off from farmers. I can't tell you exactly where some of this smoke came from, but it was dense with it. We actually set up, we went through the whole process. We set up at just under 4,000 yards, or 3,880 yards, for our 50 cal.
Right, 2.5 targets right, level the bottom edge of plate.
And what we were about to test was these new bullets that we've done up. Now this is we had 10 of each, which are our number 5 and number 2, but our beautiful new projectile in the 50, set up to test and see how they're going to go. Planning to get a hit on plate at that distance with it, but our first proper test with those bullets. But the truth is, by the time we could even see properly through the smoke, mirage was there. It was not going to be a successful thing to try, and even if we'd managed to pull off a hit with it, we weren't going to have a decent video. So we stalled on that. The other thing we're hoping to test, but it's lovely and calm, and something I wanted to share with you or show you in some form or other, was this little thing here, which is, I suppose for people who've been watching, a couple of weeks ago or last week we tried a spotting scope system which was using very good scope, which is a 10 to 60 power March scope, which I set up on a rifle stock to use as a spotting scope. Worked really nicely, but it is a rifle scope. It's not as big as a spotting scope, and as I'd thought about trying to make more stable fashions of using a spotting scope, but I hadn't got to that place. But spurred on by someone's comment of why didn't you think further outside the box, and why didn't you come up with a way to use the spotting scope and make it more stable, I thought about it some more, did some asking around, and actually came up with a plan. This is it. It's not tested yet, so we will test it and we'll tell you how it went. But pretty simple. I've taken the Night Force spotting scope. It simply screws on the bottom here, the same way as it mounts to its quick release, but it screws on the bottom here, onto a solid rail that has rubber either end, so it stabilizes the spotting scope to this steel bar. Then I've run a simple, crude, cheap bipod on the front, which all can fold away obviously, but it bolts on the front there, and then got the same thing I had on that stock, which is a monopod on the back here. Made it reasonably heavy, so it's got reasonable weight to it, but it's made to be able to sit on the ground. You can then, if I free that, you can then adjust that to get your height both front and rear. You can cant it, you can do all the bits and pieces, so you can really set it up and fine tune it. But the main logic is down here, you're a little bit further out of the wind obviously. You're going to be able to look at it in laying down behind it, and we've set this up for Sam, going to be able to look at it quite neatly, even stabilize it. In the little bit of testing we've done, found that you could actually push the rear mount into the ground to make it even more stable, to deal with buffeting wind. And it's not uncomfortable to use like that. So it's in the prone position, and there's other bits and pieces that are going to be part of this test. But the main logic of this deal is to give it something that has full stability on the scope, so the buffeting wind doesn't affect it, and to get a good grip on the ground and still make it usable. So different way of looking at the equation completely. As to whether it's going to be an ultimate win, we don't know. That's why I want to test it, but I still show you what we're up to, what we're thinking of, and what maybe our way of dealing with the heavy wind situation that we get quite commonly on the little knob we sit on, and hopefully this fixes it. But gives us all the quality of a true spotting scope. Really, this is, I'm using Night Force scope because they because I like their products, that side of things. There's obviously lots of good scopes. We like this one for sure, but this would obviously be able to work with any sort of system, and even with, you know, the binocular systems as well. It's going to be this gives it a floor mount, which obviously in the way of tactical situations gives the spotter a low profile as well. But really for us, all we're talking about is trying to get around that buffeting wind, which makes it really hard for Sam, the spotter, to see. Anyway, so that's that bit. The last thing of what we're up to today was playing with this little toy. Now listen, this is not a long-range rifle or weapon by any means. It's a simple little thing that we use for, we've got for using at our shooting steel at 15 yards and 25 yards and things like that, which is what we do in competition stuff, or in our, I shouldn't say competition, but we go and do it our club stuff, so just for fun. But what we've been asked about many times is how far can you shoot a shotgun? How far can you shoot a shotgun slug? How far away could hits be? And the honest truth is I don't know. I've never actually tried to shoot them a long way. We've obviously taken our 45-70 and shot it a long way, but I've never tried to shoot a shotgun very far at all. So when we were fraughted with being able to do things this morning, we've got that sort of light. It's not awesome. It's not the perfect day for it by any means, but as a test, I thought, okay, that's something we could really do. So a couple of tests, some shot rounds here, just some normal old Winchester, and we've got some Federal rifled slugs so they can go down the straight shotgun. It is a shotgun, it's not rifled, and then shoot them. I don't have it here, but I shot a couple with 3-inch slugs to see how far we'd go. We actually did a little bit of testing shooting into the sun so you could see where the dust landed.
Did you see where it went?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so that was a fair way. Okay.
It's over to the right a long way.
Left, yeah.
Left a long way, yeah.
So that was...
Okay, so I was aiming up about there, and went out to there.
That's kind of level with that gate, isn't it?
It's going to be hard to aim like this. I'm going to need to build tight sighting system. Found roughly where it was shooting in the paddock, got our target that we had set up this morning for our lot longer shot, and just put it over into this paddock over there, which I think I'll put some footage on there. I'll try and clean it up so you can see. It's terrible with the smoke, but to give a rough idea of where we're actually getting to. Chamber.
Yeah.
Not a lot different.
Oh, it's just quite close, right and low, just quite close to the target.
And looks like about 750 yards is probably where that was the 3-inch slug is going to end up going to. Now these are not long-range slugs; they're not being developed loads at all. That was just a Winchester. I don't have the box around here, but that was just, I think it was the Winchester 3-inch slugs. And around 750 yards, I was pointing up a fairway. I was very crudely trying to aim with different parts of the rifle to get a fairly consistent thing. I only had a few shots out there, so it's something that I suppose leave comments. If you're keen to see us try and see if we can hit hits on steel with a shotgun, then let us know. It's something that I can have a play with in the right conditions. I can't promise you when, but with the right conditions and with a bit of time for our sleeve, we'll give it a shot. If it's stuff that people think don't be silly, it's pushing the boundaries, then fine, let us know that too. But anyway, that's what we saw. It was 750 yards. Well, the target's actually at 768 yards. Which is what we just measured with the GPS side of things. There's only really one shot that was on there that was reasonable to see, but we could really see where it was. But we got some in our testing just prior to that. We got some pretty consistent results out of where we were lobbing in the paddock. Nothing to actually show, but yeah, that's about the distance that a 3-inch slug in this little 20-inch barrel. I suppose we've got big long 30-inch skeet guns and that sort of stuff that may make a little difference. I don't think it's going to make much difference, and in truth, having a nice under and over and shooting a solid out of it doesn't feel right to me anyway. So this little foul, it works fine. I should say I would feel like the right thing to use would be my pump action. We have a couple of them for playing in the club as well, but our laws over here mean that that's the only place we can use those. So I don't want to break any laws. It is, a peculiar law, I get you, but it is a law that we have over here. So this little thing is sort of a similar to that in a way, but it is just a break action under and over, and still kicks a little bit like a mule with the 3 inches in it. But like I said, if you're keen to see it, then we'll see if we can get a hit on steel at somewhere out there at some stage. Anyway guys, that's what I got to tell you. Sorry we didn't manage to get out. The weather's just not, well, I shouldn't say the weather, it's a beautiful day, but it's smoky. Hopefully we'll get some more clear days so we can do a little bit more before this season's over. And thanks for checking in on us. Catch you next time. Thanks for watching the video guys, I hope you enjoyed. Down below here we've got a link to our web store where we have some of the specialised long range shooting products that we actually produce. Check them out.
And for those of you who can, it'd be great to get some help. In our store we have support bits, and when you purchase those, the money goes direct to our channel and helps us bring these videos to you.
Thanks guys.
See you next time.